Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that, cuts through the noise and gets straight to the insights. Our goal, to get you well-informed, fast, on the topics you really care about. And today, we're talking about something many of you might find, well, painfully familiar, learning English.
Right.
That journey through traditional language learning, maybe countless grammar rules, vocabulary lists that seem to never, ever end. That feeling of hitting a wall?
Oh, absolutely. That feeling of being overwhelmed.
Exactly. Or worse, just feeling completely stuck, even after putting in so much effort. It's almost like you're trying to build this amazing thing, but the ground keeps shifting.
Yeah, the foundation feels shaky.
So today we're diving into an approach that claims it can, well, shatter that wall. And surprisingly, with simplicity. It offers a really profound way to truly improve your English.
It really does challenge the conventional wisdom.
So our mission today, it's really to explore this, well, surprisingly simple method. But it's also supposed to be, profoundly effective for really changing your English. This isn't about just adding more complexity.
Yeah, quite the opposite.
It's about cutting through it. We're looking at an approach that questions almost everything we thought we knew about learning a language. It promises a real breakthrough.
Indeed. And our source for this deep dive, it's a really unique philosophy. It was shared in this compelling YouTube video. And it suggests a pretty radical departure from how things are usually done.
Okay.
And the core promise, it's audacious, really. Imagine learning to read, speak, and even think in English just like a native speaker.
Wow, okay.
All from just one single story.
That sounds almost too simple.
It does sound almost too good to be true, doesn't it? It's like a whisper against the loud chorus of traditional methods. But the insights behind it, they're compelling enough that you might actually reconsider your whole learning strategy.
Okay, I'm intrigued. And trust us, by the end of this deep dive, you'll have the full shortcut. Basically, you'll be well informed on this technique. Definitely.
We're not just going to list facts. We're giving you surprising insights, practical steps you can actually use, and hopefully enough aha moments to genuinely shift how you approach learning English.
Yeah, actionable stuff.
Get ready for some serious, immediately usable knowledge that could really change your relationship with the language. #I. The frustration of traditional learning and a glimmer of hope. All right. So let's kick off where maybe a lot of you are right now, or perhaps where you've been pretty recently.
That familiar struggle.
Yeah, the source material paints this really vivid picture, almost painfully relatable of those common traps and frustrations English learners face.
Right.
It talks about those late nights, surrounded by books, notebooks just crammed with words you copied down.
And then promptly forgot.
Exactly. And the grammar rules, instead of lighting the way, just felt incredibly heavy, like this unbearable weight just pressing down.
It's not just the amount of information, is it? It's the feeling of it. Totally. That deep, overwhelming feeling of being buried under, hundreds of lessons, and each one seems to add another layer of confusion, not clarity.
And that weight, as the source really describes so well, it takes a real emotional toll. It's not just, your head hurting from trying to cram it all in,
Right.
but your heart actually gets tired.
Yeah.
There's this feeling of being completely lost, just floating in this sea of words and rules.
Adrift.
Yeah, adrift. And it leads to this total lack of excitement, or even worse, a lack of confidence in yourself. The learner in the source actually hits this breaking point, asking, is this really the only way? Is this the only way to learn English?
That's a tough place to be.
It really is. It's this critical moment, this psychological block, where the usual path just feels empty. No joy, no real progress, maybe not even any hope. This feeling of being constantly overwhelmed, carrying this huge burden, but not moving forward, it resonates with so many people trying to learn a language.
It's often that point of despair, though, isn't it, that makes you open to something totally different.
Well,
Because the old ways just aren't cutting it.
exactly. When you're ready for a change.
And that's precisely what happened here. The source describes this accidental encounter online, just browsing, maybe looking for a distraction from those heavy textbooks, when this very short story popped up, really unassuming. There's 5 lines, simple words, sentences so easy, they almost felt, trivial.
Yeah, nothing complicated.
But something about its simplicity just grabbed their attention. It wasn't some deep literary work. It was just there, like a small, inviting island in this ocean of dense information.
And the impact was immediate and surprising, almost like magical in how simple it was.
Right.
This wasn't a story to be, picked apart academically. No diagramming sentences here. It was read once, Then again and again, lips moving, saying each line softly, almost without thinking. And then for the very first time, this huge realization, I understood everything. Not just the dictionary meaning, but the actual feeling inside the words.
Hmm.
The story itself, super simple about a boy losing a red balloon, then seeing it floating in the sky. It brought a genuine smile.
A connection.
Yes. It made the reader think, and crucially, it made them want to speak. That's the real aha moment, isn't it? When understanding goes beyond just processing language to actually feeling the emotion and the narrative.
Yeah, it's like a deeper, more human connection.
Precisely.
And that's exactly where the big shift, the paradigm shift, really kicked off. Standing up, saying those simple sentences again, but this time louder, clearer, with this newfound sort of conviction,
Hmm.
looking in the mirror and repeating them, not like it's homework, but like an act of discovery. The huge realization wasn't about finally getting some complex grammar rule or memorizing another page.
Oh.
It was about speaking English directly from a story, and that sparked this completely new feeling, actual confidence.
A breakthrough moment.
Yeah. It was this clear sign that the old ways weren't the only ways. And maybe, for this person, not even the best ways. It really showed the power of a story to just bypass those usual mental blocks.
Exactly right. That night, according to the source, no new vocab words were crammed in, no obscure grammar rules were agonized over.
Right, a night off.
But something much, much more powerful was discovered. A really fundamental idea about learning. One story is enough if you use it the right way.
Okay, that's a big claim. One story is enough.
It is. The source explicitly says that this single, humble story has the power within it to teach reading, to teach speaking, and even to fundamentally change how you think in English.
Wow.
It's a powerful case for depth over breadth, truly getting inside and owning a small piece of language instead of just skimming over tons of stuff you forget quickly.
And the dedication to this new method, it's actually pretty inspiring, shows how much impact it had right away.
Totally.
The very next day, the story gets printed out, folded up carefully, kept in a pocket, like a constant companion.
Always there.
Took it everywhere, school, bus, park it. It became part of daily life, read again and again, whispered while walking, said aloud when alone, just whenever there was a moment. And it wasn't just passive reading. There was this active, almost playful engagement. Acting it out, making faces like the boy in the story.
Getting into character.
Yeah. Imagining being there searching for that lost red balloon. This wasn't just reading or repeating, it was living the language.
That's the key difference.
The story became totally personal. It turned this abstract thing called English into something alive and a part of me, really weaving it into daily thoughts and experiences. Like the difference between just looking at a map and actually walking the trail.
Beautifully put. It's experiential.
So after that amazing breakthrough, you're probably thinking, okay, sounds good, but how do I actually do this? What are the practical steps?
Right, the how-tos.
Exactly. Which brings us to the first really crucial practices for interacting with whatever story you choose. And this is where it gets really interesting because it's not just about, passively looking at words.
Precisely. The very first practice is all about reading with feeling, not just recognizing words.
Okay, reading with feeling.
Yeah. The source really emphasizes that the true power of reading isn't about how fast you can go or just identifying words. It's fundamentally about connection.
Connection.
When you genuinely feel a sentence, when its meaning clicks deep inside you, it's totally transformative. You don't just process it intellectually. You remember it, you understand it, and you love it. It's about engaging emotionally with the text, letting the words resonate way down, not just skimming the surface.
It taps into that emotional memory, right? Which is supposed to be stronger.
Exactly. Much more durable than just rote learning.
Okay, so how do you do that? What are the steps? They sound simple, but maybe powerful.
Deceptively simple, yes. You start by vividly imagining the scenes as you read. So with the boy and the red balloon story,
Right.
you don't just read the boy lost his red balloon. You actively see the boy in your mind. Maybe he's small, looking up, eyes wide, hand reaching out.
Yeah, I can picture that.
That desperate, useless gesture. You let yourself feel that little pang of sadness, the loss in that sentence. Then you deliberately change how you say it. Read it slowly, then softer, almost a whisper, then louder, maybe with more urgency. Each time, the goal is to make it feel new, discover fresh nuances, new emotional textures.
So you're not letting it become automatic, stale repetition.
Exactly. This constant variation stops the words getting stale and forces your brain to re-engage on a deeper level. It prevents that kind of mindless reading where you forget it instantly.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's about letting even simple words paint a picture in your head, not just give you a definition. You're really encouraged to dive in, visualize the boy running, searching, feel his hope when he spots the balloon,
Mm-hmm.
all without grabbing a dictionary or stressing about the grammar. That deliberate break from the usual analysis is key.
Why?
Because when you read with feeling, the words don't just float through your mind. They stick.
Yeah.
They become part of you because you've attached this rich, multi-sensory experience to them.
Right.
This practice, subtly, almost without you noticing, trains your mouth, your ears, your brain to build English naturally.
Yeah.
It integrates the language deep down, setting the stage for it to become automatic.
So the advice is super practical. Pick one short story, anything that clicks with you,
You have something you connect with.
and then commit to reading it 5 times, but each time deliberately change your voice, your emotion. Like maybe tell it to a friend like you're sharing a secret, or narrate it like it's happening to you.
Yeah, feel every moment.
Or tell it to a little kid, simplifying your tone, or even go big, perform it like an actor on stage.
Get dramatic.
Get dramatic. And the benefits of this, it sounds playful, but they're profound.
Absolutely. It sounds like fun, but it's actually how your brain learns best, creating these rich, multi-dimensional memories. When you read like this, the story literally comes alive inside you. And when the story's alive, the language becomes real, unforgettable. You don't forget it. You don't need to slog through studying it. It just stays with you, easy to access.
Wow.
This kind of reading, it's not just about understanding. It's powerful practice for speaking. It's training for thinking. It's a really effective, kind of secret way to get fluent without all the stress, building the foundations from the inside out, almost like tricking your brain into learning effortlessly.
Okay, tricking the brain. I like that. Now, let's talk about speaking because, man, for so many people, this is the big one. The intimidating hurdle.
And fear factor, yeah.
Totally. The source is really honest about this, recalling that initial feeling of having a small voice, tight lips when first trying to speak English.
It's incredibly common. Feeling the words are just heavy and awkward in your mouth.
And that little voice inside, what if I say it wrong? What if I sound stupid? That fear just kills progress before you even start.
It's paralyzing. And this is where that crucial perspective shift comes in. A reframe that's as simple as it is effective.
Okay, what is it?
The source just gently reminds us, this is just a story. It's not a test. It's not a school exam.
Ah, okay. Lowering the stakes.
Exactly. That simple thought immediately makes it less scary. It changes the act of speaking from this high-pressure performance into something less daunting, even fun.
Right.
It's about treating the language not like something you'll be graded on, but like a tool for enjoyment, for imagination, for play. When you take the pressure off, your mind is free to experiment and learn.
So practically, how does that mindset shift play out? What do you actually do?
You just say the story out loud, again and again, slowly first. Let each word form clearly. Then maybe a bit faster, build some rhythm, and finally with feeling, putting emotion into the phrases.
So repetition, but not mindless repetition.
Not at all. It's repetition with more and more engagement each time, deepening your connection with every single utterance.
Yeah.
And here's the secret the source talks about. The thing that really makes this different.
Yeah.
You don't just speak. You get your whole body involved. You act out the story.
Act it out, like physically.
Yeah. Pretend to look behind trees. Actually get down and crawl like you're looking under a car. Peek into imaginary boxes.
Yeah.
When you embody the story, act it out, speaking becomes real and actually fun.
Okay.
And that's what really dissolves the fear and the awkwardness. This full-body, multi-sensory thing makes the language experiential. It embeds it way deeper than just saying the words.
Embodied cognition, right, where physical action helps mental learning.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
It makes the language feel like part of you, not just something you're reciting.
So the advice is get theatrical, even if it feels a bit silly.
Totally. Speak in front of a mirror, use your hands dramatically, let your eyes tell the story, say every word with meaning like an actor.
Okay.
Remember, it's not a performance for anyone else. It's a powerful personal practice to unleash your voice in English.
And the benefits build up over time.
Absolutely. And surprisingly quickly.
Mhm.
It physically trains your tongue and mouth muscles, improves your articulation, your pronunciation. It builds strong memory links. It fosters real courage to speak. And crucially, it makes English feel incredibly natural, almost like your first language.
Natural is the goal.
Right. And the focus isn't on saying super complex things right away. It's about learning to say small things clearly, with feeling, over and over.
Got it.
That kind of repetition, it's actually how babies learn language naturally.
Yeah.
It strengthens those neural pathways and builds this solid, unshakable confidence, turning hesitant sounds into fluid speech.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Next up then, listening. Most of us think listening is just, hearing words, processing them, maybe writing them down.
Standard classroom listening, yeah.
But the source really challenges that idea. It reveals this much deeper level of engagement, way beyond just processing audio.
Real listening, according to this source, is fundamentally about feeling.
Hmm.
It's about hearing the actual music of a language.
The music.
Yeah, its unique melody, the ups and downs, the fast and slow, the soft and strong. Think about how babies learn their first language.
Sure.
They aren't looking at grammar charts. They just naturally soak up the rhythms, the intonation patterns of their parents talking for hours and hours without knowing a single rule.
They're tuned into the sound.
Exactly. The prosody, the musicality of it, this deep, intuitive absorption of the language's emotional and rhythmic landscape, that's the model this method tries to follow. Letting the language just wash over you and sink in.
So how do you practice that?
The technique is beautifully simple. Really follows the less is more idea. Find an audio version of your short story, ideally read by a native speaker, soft, clear, comfortably slow.
Okay.
Put on earphones, close your eyes, and just listen. No notebook, no dictionary, no desperate attempt to catch every single word. The goal isn't dissection, it's passive, deep absorption.
Letting the sounds and emotions just soak in.
Precisely. And as you listen, the process is about intuitively noticing the little things. How does the speaker convey sadness beyond just the word?
Tone of voice.
Tone, rhythm. How does the rhythm change to show energy or a shift in feeling? Maybe a slightly higher pitch for curiosity, a longer vowel for thought.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is listening for emotions, for the underlying music, not just individual words. This gets you beyond surface understanding to an intuitive grasp of how meaning and feeling come across through sound.
You're learning the emotional landscape of the language, like a musician learning a tune.
Exactly like that.
And the source describes listening consistently, like 5 times one day, 10 the next.
Yeah, integrating it into daily life, listening while walking, brushing teeth. The key word throughout is absorbing, letting it seep into your subconscious, not actively studying it. It reduces that mental strain.
Okay.
And the breakthrough, as the source describes it, it sounds really exciting and often happens unexpectedly.
Yeah.
By the third day, maybe, the mouth starts moving naturally, almost unconsciously mimicking the sounds. The ears start anticipating what's next. You could repeat words without really thinking. English changes from just noise into flowing music, something you can intuitively follow, almost dance to. It's a fundamental shift from hearing something foreign to internalizing its rhythm.
From noise to music. I like that.
Yeah.
And this deep listening sets you up for the next step,
It absolutely does. It naturally prepares the brain for active replication.
which, as the source hints, is shattering something we'll get into more detail on next. And it sounds like it really boosts the whole process.
It really does. But the power of this deep listening part is its simplicity and focus. You don't need many stories, you just need one, and you need to listen to it a lot.
Right. Depth over breadth again.
Make that one story a constant familiar friend. Let your brain fully integrate its sounds, its rhythms, its feelings, without the overwhelm of constantly switching between random English stuff you don't understand. It builds this stable, deep linguistic foundation.
Okay, we've built a solid base here. Reading with feeling, speaking with the whole body, listening like a child. Now let's shift gears to the next level, moving beyond just interacting with the story to really internalizing the language, making it part of how you actually think.
Going deeper.
So what does all this really mean for getting truly fluent, effortlessly fluent?
Well, this brings us to the really crucial practice of thinking in English. This tackles one of the biggest, most frustrating problems for learners head on.
Which is?
Our brain's default setting to act like a constant translator. We think in our native language first, then mentally search for the English words, right?
Yeah, that slow, painful process.
Exactly. It's laborious, leads to slow, hesitant, often stuck speech.
Yeah.
Like having this inefficient middleman between your thought and your voice, a bottleneck.
Definitely felt that bottleneck. So how does this approach break that?
What's fascinating is how this source describes this unexpected breakthrough. For the learner, suddenly, lines from the story started just appearing in their mind, spontaneously. No conscious effort to translate.
Really? Like out of the blue?
Yeah, like just brushing your teeth and bam, the boy lost his red balloon, just pops into your head.
Yeah.
In English,
Yeah.
without thinking it in your own language first.
Oh.
It felt small, maybe accidental, but it was a massive step towards real English fluency. a direct path forming between thought and English words.
Okay, so how do you encourage that? Is there a trick?
The trick is to use the story you've already absorbed and turn it into a mental game. The learner didn't grab a textbook.
Right.
Instead, they use those little moments in the day, walking, washing dishes, lying in bed, to ask and answer questions about the story, all in English, completely inside their head.
Ah, internal monologue.
Exactly. And that's crucial because it's a perfectly safe, zero-pressure zone. No one's judging, no fear of mistakes, just pure, free linguistic play in your mind.
I can see the power in that. Like walking to work, you mentally ask, "Where's the boy going?" And answer, "He's looking for the balloon. How does he feel?" Sad, but hopeful. All silently in English. No translation delay.
Exactly. This kind of mental chatter is incredibly freeing. No fear, no grammar rules, no pressure.
And that trains the brain directly.
Systematically, it trains the brain to just bypass that slow translation step, makes English feel natural, automatic. It's building direct links between concepts and English words, not routing everything through your first language.
It's like a silent engine for fluency.
A powerful one. Constantly reinforcing your English framework through low-stakes internal practice. It's rewiring your brain for direct English processing.
Okay, mental practice. Got it.
Hmm.
Now let's talk about a technique the source calls the game changer for speeding up fluency. Shadowing.
Ah, yes, shadowing. It's revolutionary for a reason.
If you haven't heard of it, it sounds really effective for building confidence and pronunciation fast.
It is. Shadowing, basically, is actively copying an audio source by speaking just a little behind the native speaker.
I like echo.
Kind of, but a very intentional, engaged echo. You're trying to match everything. Their voice, the sounds, the speed, and really importantly, the feeling. You're not just repeating words, you're actively mimicking every little nuance of how the native speaker delivers them.
How does that feel at first? The source mentioned it feels funny.
Yeah, it can. Like you're chasing someone in a race, trying to keep up. Your voice might lag a bit behind the audio. It can definitely feel awkward, clunky initially. But the key, the source stresses, is just keep going. Persist, keep moving like that shadow, chasing the original voice, even if it's not perfect.
Okay, persistence. And what's the magic behind it? Why is it so effective?
Here's the thing. It fundamentally forces your brain to stop translating. There's literally no time for that mental detour.
Ah, because you have to speak almost instantly.
Exactly. It pushes you to think, speak, and feel English all at the same time. It's this simultaneous, intense engagement that's incredibly good at developing rapid, fluid speech.
Wow.
It physically and mentally breaks that translation habit by demanding immediate output. It creates direct paths between listening and speaking in your brain, like a linguistic sprint, boosting your internal processing speed.
Linguistic sprint. Okay. How do you practice it?
Shadowing the full story multiple times a day. The source even suggests doing it in front of a mirror, actively copying the speaker's emotions.
Copying emotions.
Yeah. If they sound sad, you try to sound sad. Happy, you smile too. Exaggerate if it helps. It's about learning to capture the expression and flow, not just getting the sounds right. You're becoming an actor of the language.
Not just the speaker. And the results come quickly.
Often remarkably fast. Noticeable progress within just a week is what the source suggests. You'll feel your mouth muscles getting stronger, more nimble.
Okay.
Words come out faster. Those awkward pauses, they start shrinking. Pronunciation improves, natural flow gets better, confidence shoots up.
You stop sounding like a robot.
Exactly. You start sounding human because you're mimicking the natural rhythm, the intonation, the emotional shape of native speech. It's a huge shift in how your English sounds, and more importantly, how it feels to speak it.
Okay, so for our listeners, how do they actually start shadowing? Give us the steps.
Right. Roadmap time. First, pick your short story with good, clear native audio. Start simple. Listen to one sentence, pause the audio, then repeat it. Try hard to match the voice, the ups and downs, the pace.
Okay, listen. Pause, repeat first.
Get comfortable with that. Then, move to the real shadowing. Play a full line or maybe a short paragraph and speak along with it. Aim to be about half a second behind the speaker.
And the key is?
Do not pause the audio.
Oh.
Just keep going, like that relentless shadow, even if you stumble or miss a word. Keep chasing.
Got it. Don't stop.
And the source really hammers this home. This is not a test. This is a powerful practice. Even 5 minutes a day makes a real, measurable difference in fluency and confidence.
5 minutes isn't much.
No. And it's described as the closest thing to real-life speaking without pressure. You get intense training for your mouth, ears, and brain in this super effective low-stakes way.
Builds naturalness, reduces that self-consciousness.
Exactly. And quickly turns understanding into active, ready-to-use speech. It's a powerhouse technique.
All right, we've covered the foundations. Reading with feeling, speaking with your body, listening intuitively, thinking in English, and that game changer, shadowing.
A solid toolkit.
But the journey doesn't end there, right? The source shows how that one simple story becomes this incredible launchpad for even more fluency, flexibility, and creativity.
Yes, moving beyond consumption to actually owning and generating the language.
Okay, how?
Well, the next step sounds ambitious, but the source insists it's totally doable, turning that one simple story into 100 brand new sentences.
100 from 5 lines. How?
The key isn't painful memorization like trying to push a boulder uphill. It's framed as this dynamic, creative process, driven by curiosity, letting the language grow organically from that familiar core, like ripples spreading in a pond.
Okay, driven by curiosity. I like that. How does the game work?
It's framed as a fun game, which makes it feel light. You take each line of your story. Let's stick with "The boy lost his red balloon."
Okay.
You start asking really simple, basic who, what, where, why, how questions about it. And then this is crucial, you answer them in English, building new sentences from the stuff you already know. So, who is the boy? Answer, he is a small boy. Boom, sentence 1.
Oh, okay.
What did he lose? He lost his balloon. Sentence 2, where did he lose it? He lost it in the park. Sentence 3. You just keep going, probing the story for new angles, new details, new sentence structures, without that pressure of inventing everything from scratch.
So you're expanding vocabulary, but also practicing sentence structure.
Exactly. But it's mainly about boosting your creativity within the language you know. You feel empowered to add new ideas like the boy ran fast after his balloon.
Okay.
Or you playfully change things. The boy lost his blue balloon or the girl lost her red balloon. Every question, every little tweet opens a door for exploring the language, building on what's familiar without needing complex rules or someone checking your work. It's organic growth.
And the freedom here sounds like a big plus. You can play this sentence building game anywhere, anytime.
Huge benefit. On the bus, waiting in line, before bed, over coffee. No classroom needed, no teacher hovering. You're building sentences from your own curiosity in your own private mental space. It really puts the learning power back in your hands.
Nice.
And the result? The source says it makes your brain faster, more agile. Speaking gets easier. New sentences start forming more automatically.
Because you've practiced it so much internally.
Right. When you've built sentences like this 100 times in your head, answering questions in real life becomes way less scary. You stop waiting for someone to feed you the right phrase. You teach yourself. You become an active builder of real English.
Okay, active builder. I like that. Now let's tackle maybe the most universal frustration for language learners. Forgetting new words.
Ugh, yes. The leaky bucket problem.
We've all been there, right? Staring at a flashcard at 2 a.m., writing a word 10 times.
Only for it to vanish by breakfast.
Exactly. Flashcards, lists, they often just don't stick. The source offers a brilliant, kind of counterintuitive solution, the emotion trick.
The emotion trick. Yeah, this is powerful. The core problem, as this approach points out so clearly, is that words learned alone are just sounds, like loose atoms floating around.
Just connected.
Totally. No meaning, no feeling, no story. Without that deeper connection, context, emotion, they're easily forgotten. They just slip through the cracks of short-term memory. This is a basic flaw in a lot of traditional vocab methods that focus on quantity over quality of connection.
Right. Our brains aren't wired for lists.
No, they thrive on narrative, emotion, context.
So the emotion trick is about deliberately connecting words and phrases to your own feelings, your memories.
Yes, actively, purposefully. The source shares this really strong anecdote, imagining being the boy in the story, then consciously remembering a real childhood memory of losing a favorite toy car.
Okay.
Suddenly, that simple story about the lost balloon wasn't just words anymore. It became my memory, infused with real personal feeling. That emotional connection locked the words in place like no flashcard ever could.
Wow. So emotion acts like glue for memory.
Precisely. When you feel the sadness in the boy lost his red balloon, by remembering your own loss, big or small, that whole sentence stayed in my heart. It becomes effortless to remember. Emotion makes memory profoundly stronger. It links new information to existing brain pathways loaded with personal meaning.
And what if you don't have a matching memory?
Use your imagination. Create one. Add vivid colors, sounds, people, places. Make the mental scene rich and emotionally charged. That's why stories work so much better than lists. for remembering things long term. They naturally provide that emotional and contextual framework.
Okay, use emotion, real or imagined. Got it. Finally, we get to what the source calls the ultimate, most empowering step.
The peak of the mountain.
Creating your own story. The source mentions feeling scared at first, thinking, I'm just a learner, I can't do
It's
that.
that self-doubt, yeah, it's strong.
But the deep understanding, the living of the original story, gave this surge of confidence, enough to take that leap into real creation.
Exactly. That deep immersion empowered the learner to make small but incredibly important changes. The boy becomes a girl,
Right.
the red balloon turns into a yellow kite, or a runaway shoe.
Haha, a runaway shoe.
Why not? It's still the same basic story structure, but it becomes undeniably your story because you've put your own creativity into it, made it personal.
That small change feels like a big step.
It's a giant leap in confidence and language control. It proves you can manipulate the language, not just repeat it back.
And the source talks about the joy of doing this.
Oh yeah, almost palpable joy, the delight of building a new version, line by line, making it sound real and mine. That feeling of creating something totally new, all in English, described as the best feeling of all.
True authorship, linguistic freedom.
And the encouragement to listener is, be totally creative. Change characters, boy to dog, objects, balloon to shoe, invert the plot, losing to finding.
Anything goes.
The crucial insight is liberating. There are no rules. This is your story. This freedom unlocks real linguistic creativity, lets you experiment, play, make the language yours without worrying about external rules.
And the best part, this personal creation becomes like a second teacher.
Yes, the ultimate compounding effect. You can now apply all those powerful methods we talked about reading, with feeling, speaking with body, shadowing, thinking, asking questions, the emotion trick to your own unique, handcrafted story.
Wow, it multiplies the learning.
Exponentially.
Yeah.
It solidifies your command over the language.
And that ultimate feeling when you're not just copying anymore, but actively creating in English.
That's it. Profound pride, solid confidence, true linguistic freedom. It marks that huge shift from being a language recipient to a confident, fluent generator. That, the source says, is the essence of real fluency. Not just understanding, but expressing your own unique thoughts and stories.
Okay, we've covered a lot. From frustration to engagement, simple words to creating your own stories. Now it's time to tie it all together with what the source calls the single most powerful final step.
The grand finale.
The one story 30 days plan.
Yes. And the brilliance here is its elegant simplicity combined with profound effectiveness.
How so?
You commit to using the same story every single day for 30 days. But, and this is key, you engage with it in a new way each day.
Oh, okay. So it's not just boring repetition of the same task.
Exactly. This clever structure ensures consistent, gradual improvement without that soul-crushing boredom. The method changes daily, even if the core story stays the same. It allows for this deep, sustained, multifaceted interaction with one piece of language. True internalization.
Okay, let's break down this weekly plan for everyone listening so they can see the path and how it all builds.
Let's do it.
Week 1, get close to the story. So this first week is all about really deep immersion, forging that close, almost physical bond with the story.
Precisely. Laying down that foundational, emotional, and intuitive connection. Every daily activity in week 1 is designed to embed that story deep inside you. Make it a living thing in your mind and heart.
Okay, day by day.
Day 1, just read the story slowly 5 times out loud. Focus on clarity, presence. Day 2, deep listening, earphones, eyes closed. Just feel the sound, the music. No analysis. Day 3, speak the story while reading, consciously putting feeling into your voice. Day 4, introduce shadowing, follow the audio, half a second behind, start training the voice.
Right.
Day 5, start thinking with the story. Repeat lines, questions in your mind while walking, sitting. Engage that internal English dialogue. Day 6, ask simple who, what, where, why, how. Questions about the story, answer them aloud. Build connections.
Okay.
And day 7, actively use the emotion trick. Link each line to a personal memory or imagined scene. Cement it with feeling. The goal for week 1. By the end, the story will live in your heart. You're building a personal, intuitive relationship with the language.
Got it. Week 1, make it yours. Week 2, grow the story. Now that it lives inside you, it's time to expand its reach. Start generating new language from it.
Exactly. This week is where you are now actively building your fluency, taking ownership, creatively playing with the language. Day 8, change small words in the story. Create new versions, experiment with vocab. Day 9, Write 10 new sentences based on the story. Actively build on its themes, characters. Force your brain to create.
Mm.
Day 10. Physically act out the story. Use your body. Embody the characters. Bring it to life. Reinforce physical memory. Day 11. Externalize. Tell the story to a friend or record yourself telling it. Great for self-assessment.
Okay.
Day 12. Get creative. Write a totally new ending for the story. Imagine what happens next. Day 13. Ask what-if questions. What if it rained? What if you never found it? Push your linguistic boundaries, your imagination.
Yep.
And day 14. Try to say the whole story to yourself without reading, from memory. Really feel it as you speak. This week trains you to speak from your mind, not just recite. Builds real language agility, creative expression.
Okay, week 2. Make it bigger. Week 3. Deep practice. This sounds intense. Pushing for more precision, speed, deeper understanding.
Yeah, refining your skills, becoming a more conscious user. By the end of this week, the change should be significant.
Okay, daily task.
Day 15. Translate the story into your native language, then immediately back into English. Powerful for understanding structure. Day 16. Focus hard on pronunciation. Record yourself. Compare meticulously to the native audio. Correct things. Self-correction.
Day 17.
Push your shadowing. Do it again, but faster.
I
Day 18. Deeper conversation practice. Write 20 new questions and answers using this story as a base.
20. Okay.
Day 19. Fun challenge. Speak this story in different emotions. Happy, sad, excited, angry. Practice inflection. Day 20. Deeper immersion. Write a journal entry as a character. Adopt their view.
Oh, interesting.
And day 21. Tell the story looking in the mirror. Practice confidence. Smile. Watch your body language. By the end of week 3, the source says, you are no longer a beginner. You are now a user of English. You integrated it deeply. You're actively using it.
Wow, from beginner to user in 3 weeks. Okay, final week. Week 4. Live the story. The grand culmination, taking it out into the world.
This is where it all truly connects, transforms your whole relationship with English, using your story as a springboard for wider engagement, advanced creativity, applying it expansively.
Sounds great. What are the activities?
Day 22, watch a video with similar vocab to your story. Notice the words, themes in new real contexts. Day 23, playful challenge, sing the story. Make a song, makes it even more memorable. Day 24, teach the story to someone else. Powerful way to solidify your own understanding. Day 25. Visual creativity. Make a comic or drawing about the story. Engage a different part of your brain. Day 26. Emotional reflection. Write a full paragraph about your personal feelings about the story itself. Express complex emotions in English. Day 27. Build stamina. Speak about the story non-stop for 1 minute. Push for sustained fluency.
1 minute nonstop of
Day 28. Advanced play mix 2 stories, your modified version and the original. Create a new hybrid story. Day 29. Tell the story from another character's view or someone else's. Get creative with perspectives.
Nice.
And finally, day 30. Record a video of yourself telling the story your way. Then watch it and, importantly, smile at how far you've come. As the source says, you didn't just study English, you lived it. The ultimate outcome of real immersion and active, joyful work.
That's incredible. The transformation after those 30 days sounds amazing. You don't feel like a struggling student anymore. You genuinely feel like someone who can confidently speak, understand, feel, and create in English. It's a huge shift in identity, from passive learner to active fluent user.
And the really empowering message for everyone listening is, start today. You don't need hundreds of lessons or books or lists.
Right.
You just need one story you connect with and the determination, the will, to use it well. This plan, it's structured but also really flexible. It puts you completely in control of your English journey, makes it effective and actually enjoyable.
What an amazing journey we've covered in this deep dive. Seriously, from that initial overwhelming frustration with learning English the old way, buried under rules and vocab, to this really powerful story-based path to genuine fluency. It really does feel like a potential game changer for anyone who's ever felt stuck.
It absolutely does. And the core message, it's clear, it's empowering. Just one simple story, used smartly, consistently, through all these connected techniques, it can genuinely unlock your full English potential.
Yeah.
It's all about depth, feeling, active engagement, the power of narrative, not just dry drills and memorization.
So if you've been feeling stuck or overwhelmed or just, uninspired on your English journey, we really encourage you and embrace this method.
Give it a shot.
Pick that one story, commit to the 30-day plan, even just starting with week 1, and prepare to be amazed by your own progress.
And here's a final thought. Something provocative for you to think about as you start this. What single story will you choose to transform your English journey? And maybe more excitingly, what new personal stories will you then be able to tell the world?
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show where we cut through the noise, get straight to the insights, helping you get really well informed fast. And today, we're plunging into something so many people grapple with, that often, overwhelming, seemingly endless uphill battle of learning English. You know that feeling, right? Just mountains of grammar rules, vocabulary lists that just go on forever. And that feeling of being completely buried, or maybe worse, just plain stuck. You put in the effort, but real progress, it feels impossible, like you're sinking. So what if there was another way, a path that felt, I don't know, more intuitive, maybe even fun? Our mission today is to explore this surprisingly simple but apparently profoundly effective method, one that claims to cut through all that complexity and will really change things. Forget the old grind. We're talking about a potential breakthrough, a way to stop just studying English and actually start living it.
Exactly. Our main source for this deep dive, it unveils this really unique approach. It pretty much challenges everything we normally think about language learning. It puts forward this frankly audacious idea. Imagine learning to read, speak, even think in English almost like a native. And all of it comes from deeply engaging with just one single story.
Wow.
One story.
Yeah, it's almost too good to be true, I know.
Yeah.
Like some kind of linguistic magic trick. But the insights behind it, the principles, they're actually really compelling when you unpack them.
Okay, I'm hooked already. And trust us, by the end of this deep dive, you won't just get a summary. You'll have the full blueprint, basically a shortcut to being well-informed on this whole method. We're talking surprising facts, actionable steps you can use like right away, and enough aha moments to genuinely shift how you think about improving your English. This could really change your relationship with the language. Get ready. Hashtag tag, 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 I. The frustration of traditional learning and a glimmer of hope. Okay, so let's start where so many English learners find themselves. The source material. It just paints this incredibly vivid picture, almost painful, really. Sitting up late, surrounded by textbooks, notebooks just crammed with words that won't stick, grammar rules that feel, I don't know, heavy, like this weight on your mind. It's not just the sheer amount of stuff, it's the emotional toll.
That's exactly it. It's not just feeling overwhelmed by hundreds of lessons adding more complexity. The source really gets into the emotional side. It's not just a headache from trying to cram it all in. It's this deep, heart-tired feeling. Learners talk about feeling lost, zero excitement, confidence just eroded. The person who developed this method even asked, is this the only way? Is this it?
Yeah.
And that's not just an academic question, right? It's like this cry of despair, that point where the traditional path just feels empty, no joy, no real progress. And that feeling, that heavy burden, it resonates with so many people trying to learn English. It's often not about lack of effort. It's maybe the methods just don't click with how we naturally learn.
But that moment of despair, that's often where breakthroughs happen, isn't it? And that's exactly what the source describes. It's accidental encounter online.
Yeah.
Just browsing, looking for something light, and this super short story pops up. Like 5 lines. Simple words, easy sentences. Nothing complex, definitely not a lesson. Something about it just clicked.
And the impact was immediate, almost baffling. It wasn't a story meant for analysis, picking apart grammar. It was just read, then read again, and again, lips moving, saying each line softly. And for the first time, this realization hits. I understood everything, not just the meaning, the feeling.
Wow.
This simple story about a little boy losing a red balloon and then seeing it floating in the sky, it made them smile, it made them think, and crucially, it made them want to speak.
That's the aha moment right there.
Exactly. When understanding goes beyond just words to the emotion, the story, the human bit inside the language, that's the first big insight. Language isn't just data, it's feeling.
And that's where the whole paradigm shifted. Standing up, saying those simple sentences again, but louder this time, clearer, looking in the mirror, repeating them. The big realization wasn't mastering some tricky rule or memorizing another list. It was speaking English from a story, one that had already sunk in emotionally. And that sparked something totally new, actual confidence, a sign that maybe those heavy old ways weren't the only way, maybe not even the best way for fluency.
It's a really sharp observation. That night, according to the source, no new vocab was studied, no grammar rules dissected. But something much more powerful was found, this idea that one story is enough if you use it the right way.
One story. It still kind of blows my mind.
It's an extraordinary claim, really, that This single story, if you engage deeply, can teach reading, speaking, and even fundamentally change how you think in English. It's about depth, not breadth.
Yeah.
Really internalizing one small piece of language so it becomes part of you, instead of just skimming over vast amounts of disconnected info. It shows how the brain actually learns through meaningful repetition in context.
And the dedication to this new idea is pretty cool. The very next day, the story gets printed, folded up, put in a pocket, taken everywhere. To school, on the bus, in the park, read again and again, whispered while walking, said aloud when alone. And it wasn't passive reading, it was active, almost like playing, acting it out, making faces like the boy, imagining looking for the balloon, feeling the worry, then the reliefs.
Living it.
It's exactly living the language. The story became personal. English wasn't just a subject anymore. It became something alive, something a part of me, integrated into daily life, daily thoughts. It stopped being this abstract thing and became like an embodied experience. Okay, so after this amazing sort of accidental discovery, you're probably thinking, right, sounds great, but how do I actually do this? How does one story become so powerful? This brings us to the first really crucial steps, how you interact with your story. And it goes way beyond just reading the words. Here's where it gets really interesting. It's not just about understanding, it's about connection and creation.
Precisely. The first practice isn't just reading, it's reading with feeling, not just words. The source really hammers this home. Reading isn't about speed or just getting the gist, it's about connection. When you genuinely feel a sentence, immerse yourself in its emotional world, it changes everything. You don't just process it, you remember it, you understand it, and you love it. That's a direct quote. And it makes sense cognitively. Our brains hang on to things with emotional weight. It's about engaging emotionally, letting the words sink in deep, not just skimming the surface.
And the practical steps are surprisingly simple, but they have this huge effect. Start by really vividly imagining the scenes. So, the boy in the balloon story. You don't just read, the boy lost his red balloon. You actually see him. Small kid looking up, eyes wide maybe, sad, hand reaching out. You let yourself feel that sadness in the sentence, the little sting of loss. Then you consciously change how you say it. Read it slowly. Then softer. Then louder, like a whisper. Each time, try to make it feel new, find different shades of emotion or rhythm.
It's about letting simple words paint a rich picture in your head, using your imagination fully. You're encouraged to dive in, picture the boy running, searching, feel his hope mixed with sadness, all without grabbing a dictionary or worrying about the grammar.
No dictionaries, no grammar checks.
Exactly, because when you read with feeling, the words don't just float by, they stick. They become part of you because you've attached an experience to them. This subtly trains your mouth, your ears, your brain. You're building strong, multisensory links to the language, way more effective than just memorizing lists.
The advice is super actionable. You could try right now. Pick any short, simple story, then try reading it 5 times. Each time, consciously change your voice, the emotion. Like tell it to a friend, then imagine it's happening to you. Then tell it like you're talking to a little kid, gentle, engaging, or even like you're on stage performing it.
And the payoff from this simple exercise,
Yeah.
it's huge. It's not just playing around. It's how your brain fundamentally integrates stuff. Reading this way, the story isn't just text. It comes alive. Your energy makes it real. And when the story is alive, the language is real. Organic, memorable, you don't forget it easily, no need to study it hard. It just stays with you because it's linked to an experience.
Wow.
This kind of reading, it's practice for speaking, training for thinking. It's this secret, stress-free way to build fluency from the inside out, leveraging your brain's natural knack for imagination.
Okay, now let's talk speaking, because for so many learners, this is the big wall, right? The scariest part. The source is really honest about this. Recalling that initial fear, the small voice, tight lips, when trying to actually speak English, it's so common, that feeling of being paralyzed. What if I mess up? Sounds stupid.
And this is where that crucial perspective shift comes in. The method really pushes this. The source reminds us profoundly. This is just a story. It's not a test. It's not a school exam.
Oh, okay. That helps.
That reframing right there, it just lowers the stakes massively. It turns speaking from this high-pressure performance into something less scary, more fun even. It encourages you to treat the language like a tool for enjoyment, for play, for connection, not just something to be judged. That psychological shift is key to breaking speaking barriers.
So once you've got that mindset, what's the practice? It's basically saying the story out loud. Again and again. Slowly at first, letting the words form, a bit faster. Then with feeling, putting emotion into it. Repetition, yeah, but not robotic. It's repetition with more engagement each time. Deeper connection.
And here's this fantastic secret that really boosts the practice. You don't just speak, you get your whole body involved.
Oh, while speaking.
Yeah, move and act out the story. If the boy's searching, you pretend to look behind things, crawl under imaginary cars, peek into boxes. When you act the story, speaking becomes real and fun. That physical engagement, that's what really kills the fear.
Huh.
It makes the language experiential. It embeds it deeper in your motor memory, your emotions, way more than just saying the words. You're embodying the language. Your body reinforces the patterns. It literally rewires your brain to make speaking more automatic.
The advice is basically get theatrical. Speak in front of a mirror, use your hands, your eyes, your whole face, say every word with meaning like an actor.
Mhm.
It's not for an audience. It's this powerful personal practice, making the language feel like part of your physical self.
And the benefits build up fast. It physically trains your tongue, your mouth muscles, improves pronunciation, articulation. At the same time, it builds memory, it builds courage, and crucially makes English feel natural, not forced or foreign. The focus isn't on saying big, complex things right away. It's learning to say small things clearly, with feeling, over and over.
Small things clearly. I like that.
It's like how kids learn, right? Through play, imitation.
Yeah.
It solidifies those neural connections, builds confidence word by word. You're literally building muscle memory for English.
Okay, next up, listening. Most people think listening is just, hearing words and figuring out what they mean one by one. But the source totally challenges that. It talks about a much deeper level of listening that usually gets missed in traditional learning.
Right. Real listening, according to this method, isn't mainly about intellectually decoding words. It's about feeling. It's about picking up on and internalizing the music of a language.
Wow.
Its rhythm, its ups and downs, the fast and slow, the soft and strong, the intonation patterns.
The music.
Yeah, think about babies. They absorb language for hours and hours. No grammar rules, no vocab lists. They're just tuned in to the rhythm, the emotional tone, the melody of speech, not just separate sounds. That's the model we should follow. It's this unconscious emotional absorption.
So how do you practice that kind of listening?
The technique is super simple, almost counterintuitive if you're used to academic stuff. Find an audio version of your story, ideally read by a native speaker, soft, clear, slow. Put on headphones, close your eyes, and just listen. That's it. No notebook, no dictionary. Just listen. The goal isn't to dissect it, it's to absorb it. Let it wash over you, like music. Let the raw sound of English soak into your subconscious. And as you listen like this, deeply, without analyzing, you start noticing subtle things traditional listening misses. How does the speaker's tone shift slightly to show sadness? How does the rhythm speed up or slow down to match the energy or emotion? The goal is to listen to the emotions, the feeling underneath, not just the words on the surface. It goes beyond basic comprehension to this intuitive grasp of how meaning and feeling are actually conveyed. You're learning the emotional landscape, the melody of the language, building auditory memory for real speech patterns.
The source mentions listening consistently, almost like meditating. 5 times day 1, 10 times day 2, often while doing everyday things like walking the dog, brushing teeth.
Right. And the key emphasis is absorbing, like a sponge, not actively studying with conscious effort. It's passive immersion, but really deep, letting the sounds integrate without pressure.
And what happens? What's the breakthrough?
It's exciting. Often, by day 3, something clicks. Your mouth might start moving naturally, almost without you thinking as you listen. Your ears start anticipating the next words. You can repeat phrases without conscious effort. English shifts from being this foreign, maybe even jarring noise into music, something you can feel the rhythm of, almost dance to.
From noise to music. Nice.
It's a huge shift, from something external and foreign to something internalized, flowing, almost physical. This deep listening primes your brain, builds new pathways, gets you ready for the next step.
Which, as the source hints, is shadowing.
Yeah.
Something we'll get into more detail on.
Exactly. And the power of this deep listening, it's in the simplicity and consistency. You don't need many stories, you just need one, and you need to listen to it a lot. Make that one story your constant companion. Let your brain fully integrate its sounds, rhythms, emotions subconsciously. This focused approach stops you getting overwhelmed by random English content and gives your brain the stability it needs to really learn.
Okay, we've covered the foundations. Engaging with the story through reading, speaking, deep listening. Now let's level up. Moving beyond just interacting with the story to really internalizing the language, making it part of how you actually think. So what does this all mean for getting truly fluent, like without translating in your head all the time?
This brings us to a really vital piece, thinking in English. It tackles one of the biggest, most stubborn hurdles for non-native speakers. Our brains often act like nonstop translators, right? We think in our native language, then search for the English words. It makes speech slow, hesitant, full of pauses, like there's this overloaded middleman in your head.
Totally. That mental bottleneck is huge.
It is. It's a massive barrier to just having a natural conversation.
And what's fascinating is how the source describes this unexpected breakthrough, how this translation habit started to break down. For the learner, those simple lines from the story just started appearing spontaneously in their mind, in English, without trying to translate, like brushing teeth. And suddenly, the boy lost his red balloon just pops into their head, fully formed in English. It felt small, maybe, but it was actually this huge step towards thinking directly in English.
And the trick they used, so simple. It turned the struggle into a game. No textbook, no drills. Instead, they used those little moments in the day, walking, washing dishes, lying in bed, to ask and answer simple questions about the story, all in English, all inside their own head.
Ah, okay. Internal practice.
Exactly. This mental workout is crucial because it's completely safe. Zero pressure, no fear of mistakes, no one listening, just pure internal linguistic play.
The power of that. Walking to school, mentally asking, where's the boy going? Answering yourself, he's looking for the balloon. How's he feeling? Sad, but hopeful. All internal, silent dialogue. The fear of mistakes, which can paralyze you when speaking out loud, just isn't there. It's this unique space for totally uninhibited practice.
It gives you this incredible linguistic freedom. No fear, no grammar rules, no pressure. It systematically trains your brain to skip the translation step. Makes English feel natural, instinctive. You're building direct connections between concepts and English words, not routing everything through your first language. This internal chat, done consistently, low pressure, becomes this powerful, silent engine driving fluency. You're training your brain to think in the target language. That's the hallmark of really advanced skill.
Okay, now let's talk about a technique the source calls the game changer for fluency. Shadowing. It sounds intense, but revolutionary.
It really is. Shadowing, basically, is actively copying an audio source. You speak just a little behind the native speaker, and you're trying to match everything. Not just the words, but their voice, the sound, the speed, and really importantly, the feeling, the emotion.
Like being an echo.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
But a really intentional, fully engaged echo. You're not just repeating, you're internalizing the rhythm, the melody, the prosody of natural speech.
The source mentions it feels a bit funny at first, awkward, like chasing someone in a race, always half a step behind.
It can, yeah. Your voice might feel off, clumsy initially, but the key is just persisting. Keep moving like that shadow, chasing the speaker's rhythm and intonation.
And the magic is.
The magic, the core reason it works so well, is that it forces your brain to stop translating. There's literally no time for it. It pushes you to think, speak, and feel English all at the same time, dynamically, simultaneously. That synchronized multitasking process is precisely why it's so incredibly good for developing rapid, fluid, natural speech. It systematically breaks that internal translation habit by demanding immediate verbalization, forging direct links between listening, understanding, and speaking. Neurologically, you're building direct pathways for speech production, bypassing the slower translation centers.
The practice involves shadowing the whole story multiple times a day. The source even suggests doing it in front of a mirror, copying the speaker's emotions.
Yes, if they sound sad, you try to sound sad, look sad. If they're happy, you smile, sound happy. It's not just mimicking sounds, it's learning the whole package of expression and flow that comes with fluent speech.
And the results are fast, within a week.
Often, yes, noticeably faster. Your mouth, tongue muscles feel stronger. Words come out quicker, more easily. Those awkward pauses, fewer, shorter. Pronunciation improves, rhythm feels more natural, confidence goes up. You genuinely stop sounding like a robot reading lines and start sounding human because you're mimicking and internalizing the natural cadence, intonation, emotion of native speech. It's a profound shift in how your English sounds and feels.
Okay, so for anyone listening, how do you actually do shadowing effectively?
Right. First, pick a short story with audio. Start simple. Listen to one sentence, pause, then repeat it. Try to match the speaker's voice, rhythm, feeling closely.
Pause and repeat first, got it.
Then, the main technique, play a line or even a whole paragraph and speak along maybe half a second behind the speaker. The crucial thing here is don't pause the audio. Just keep going, like a shadow. Maintain that slight delay.
Don't pause.
And remember, this is not a test. This is a powerful practice. Even 5 minutes a day makes a difference. It's described as the closest thing to real-life speaking without pressure. It's a safe space to train your mouth, ears, brain super effectively, builds naturalness, reduces that self-consciousness, and trains your whole system for spontaneous conversation, like a flight simulator for real interaction.
All right, we've covered the core stuff. Reading, speaking, listening, thinking, shadowing. You've gotten really deep with your story, internalized its sound as meaning, but it doesn't stop there. The source shows how that one simple story becomes this amazing launch pad for even more fluency, flexibility, creativity in English. It's about moving past just consuming the language to really owning it, playing with it.
Exactly. The next step is this ambitious but totally doable goal. Turn that one short story into 100 new sentences. The key isn't memorizing new phrases, which rarely works long-term. It's this dynamic, creative process, driven by curiosity, letting the language grow organically from that core you understand so well, building flexibility, spontaneous sentence creation.
How do you get 100 sentences from, like 5 lines?
It's framed as a fun game, not homework. Take each line of your story. Start asking basic who, what, where, why, how questions about it.
Okay.
And then, this is key, you answer them in English, using the story's context. So, the boy lost his red balloon. Ask, who is the boy? Answer, he is a small boy. Boom, one new sentence. What did he lose? He lost his balloon. 2 sentences. You just keep going. Let curiosity lead the way.
Ah, I see. Simple questions, simple answers, building out.
Yeah, and it's not just about vocabulary. It's about nurturing creativity within the language. You're encouraged to add new ideas, like maybe the boy ran fast, wasn't in the original, but it fits, right? Or vary sentences. Change red balloon to blue balloon. Change boy to girl. The girl lost her red balloon. Each question opens a door.
Yeah.
You build on what you know, no complex grammar needed, no corrections. It shows how simple curiosity applied to something you deeply understand leads to massive organic language growth.
And the freedom. You could do this anywhere, right?
Yeah.
On the bus, waiting in line, just sitting, thinking.
Absolutely. No classroom needed, no teacher correcting you. You're building and experimenting based on your own understanding. That low-pressure space fosters fearless exploration.
What's the payoff of this game?
The source says it's transformative. It makes your brain faster, speaking easier, new sentences become more automatic, intuitive. When you've built sentences like this 100 times in private without judgment, real-life conversations become way less scary. Eventually, fearless. You stop waiting to be taught. You become your own language builder. You shift from receiving language to actively generating it.
Okay, now let's hit that really common frustration, forgetting new words. You use flashcards, write them out 50 times, and they still vanish. The source has the emotion trick for this.
Yes, and it's brilliant. The core problem identified so well is that words learned in isolation are just sounds, symbols. They have no meaning, no feeling, no story.
Right, they're just abstract.
Exactly. Without that deeper emotional connection, they're fragile in memory, easily forgotten. That's the flaw in so many traditional vocab methods. Our brains aren't built for disconnected facts. They're built for narrative, for emotional connection.
And the emotion trick is?
It's about deliberately connecting words and phrases to your own feelings and memories. The source gives this great example. Imagining being the boy in the story, then actively remembering losing a favorite toy as a kid, maybe a red toy car. Suddenly, the story of the lost balloon wasn't just words, it became my memory, infused with real personal feeling.
Ah, linking it to your own life.
Precisely. That's how it works. Leveraging basic human memory. When you feel the sadness of the boy lost his red balloon by recalling your own loss, that sentence stayed in my heart, effortlessly remembered, deeply ingrained. Emotion is like super glue for memory. If you don't have a direct memory, use your imagination, create one. Add vivid colors, sounds, people, places, make the mental scene rich, emotional.
Use imagination if needed.
Okay, that's why stories, especially ones you connect with emotionally, work way better than lists for long-term recall. They tap into how our brains naturally learn.
Okay, finally, the ultimate step. Creating your own story. The source mentions that initial fear, like, whoa, I'm just a learner, I can't create yet.
Totally natural fear, but that deep understanding, that living of the original story, the confidence built through all the steps, it gives you the courage and the ability to take that leap into real linguistic independence.
How did that start?
It starts small. The deep immersion empowers you to make tiny but significant changes. The boy becomes a girl. The red balloon becomes a yellow kite. It's still basically the same story structure, but it becomes undeniably your story. personalized, an extension of your own creative mind. That small modification is actually a huge jump in creative confidence and language skill.
The source describes the joy of doing this,
Yeah.
building a new version line by line, making it sound real, making it mine. That feeling of creating something new in English, something original, best feeling of all.
Yeah, tangible proof of fluency.
So the encouragement is just go for it.
Absolutely. Unleash your creativity. Change characters boy to dog, objects balloon to shoe. Change the plot losing to finding. There are no rules. This is your story. That freedom is key. It lets you play and expand English without fear.
And the best part, this story you create, your own version, it becomes like a second teacher.
Exactly. You can then apply all those powerful methods we talked about: reading with feeling, speaking with movement, deep listening, shadowing, thinking in English, asking questions, the emotion trick to your own creation. It compounds the learning, reinforces every skill,
Wow.
and that ultimate feeling when you're not just copying anymore, but truly creating in English, it's profound pride, ownership, freedom. It marks that shift from being a recipient of language to a generator of it. It's true fluency, thinking, feeling, creating in English.
Okay, we've gone from frustration to deep engagement, from single words to creating stories. Now let's tie it all together. The source calls this the most powerful final step. The one story 30 days plan. Not just a schedule, but a strategic, progressive roadmap to really deep fluency.
And the genius is its simplicity, really. You commit to using the same story every day for a month.
The same story for 30 days. Won't that get boring?
But here's the clever part. You engage with it in a new way each day, or each week the focus shifts. The method changes, even if the story stays the same. This ensures consistent improvement without boredom. It fosters that deep, sustained interaction, allowing for real internalization and mastery.
Okay, makes sense. So let's break down this weekly progression. What's happening each week and why? Week 1, get close to the story.
This first week is all about deep immersion, forming that intimate, emotional connection, letting the story really sink in.
Right, it's about building the foundation. Day 1, read it slowly, 5 times out loud, just getting familiar with the sound, the feel of the words. Day 2, deep listening, headphones on, eyes closed, just feel the sound. Soak in the music of it, the rhythm, intonation, training your ear. Day 3, combine reading and speaking. Speak it while reading, consciously add feeling, start embodying it. Day 4, introduce shadowing. Follow the audio, half second behind, match rhythm, emotion. Brain starts skipping translation here. Day 5, think with the story. Repeat lines in your head while walking, sitting. Internal English dialogue. No pressure. Day 6, ask simple who, what, where questions. Answer them aloud in English. First steps in active sentence creation. Day 7, use the emotion trick. Connect lines and feelings to personal memories or imagination. Make it your story.
And the single goal for week 1 is exactly that. The story will live in your heart. Establish that emotional, intuitive, subconscious connection. By the end of the week, it shouldn't just be words. It should feel like a familiar friend, part of your inner world, a deeply integrated foundation.
Okay. Week 2, grow the story. Now it lives inside you. Time to expand its reach. Turn it from just a story into a tool for generating new language, building productive fluency.
And moving from receiving to producing.
Day 8, play with it. Change small words. Create a slightly new version. Builds vocabulary flexibility. Day 9, write 10 new sentences based on the story theme's character setting. Active linguistic creation. Day 10, act it out physically. Body, gestures, face. Pretend to be the character. Deepens physical memory. Day 11, tell the story. To a friend or record yourself. Pushes you to produce language without a script. Builds confidence. Day 12, write a new ending. What happens next? Fosters imaginative, extended English thought. Day 13, ask what-if questions. What if it rained? Encourages hypothetical thinking. Expands sentence structures. Day 14, say the story from memory, without reading. Feel it as you speak. Solidifies recall. Enhances fluency from internalized knowledge.
This second week, you are now actively building your fluency. Moving beyond just receiving and mimicking, you're creating, manipulating, owning the language. Training yourself to speak and think from your mind. Generating English from within, not just reciting or translating. It's a huge cognitive leap.
Week 3, deep practice. Now you intensify things. Push for more precision, speed, better command, polishing and strengthening those skills.
Refining the tools.
Day 15, translate the story to your native language, then immediately back into English. Rigorous. Reveals gaps, strengthens direct connections. Day 16, focus on pronunciation. Record yourself. Compare meticulously to the native audio. Correct nuances. Day 17, shadow again, but faster. Match the native speaker even closer. Builds verbal agility. Day 18, Write 20 questions and answers using the story. Deeper conversational practice. Spontaneous sentence forming. Day 19. Speak the story with different emotions, happy, sad, excited, angry. Enhances ability to convey meaning through tone. Day 20. Write a journal entry as a character from the story. Adopt their perspective. Promotes narrative thinking. Day 21. Tell the story confidently to your reflection in the mirror. Practice expressive delivery. Smile. Build self-assurance.
By the end of this intense week, the change is significant. The source says it clearly. You are no longer a beginner, you are now a user of English. You've integrated it deeply, moved from passive understanding to active, skilled use. You're not just learning, you're using.
Week 4. Live the story. The final exciting week. Fully embrace English in daily life. Use the internalized story as a springboard for broader natural interaction, making English truly yours.
Bringing it all out into the world.
Day 22. Watch a video clip with similar vocab or themes. Notice your internalized words' new contexts. Reinforces comprehension. Day 23. Sing the story. Make a simple song. Fun, rhythmic, makes words super memorable, embeds cadence deeper. Day 24. Be the teacher. Explain the story to someone, even imaginary. Explaining is the ultimate test of understanding. Day 25. Get visual. Make a comic strip or drawings about it. Engages different creative parts of the brain. Reinforces the narrative. Day 26. Write a paragraph about your feelings about the story. Express complex emotions, opinions in English. Day 27. Speak about the story nonstop for 1 minute. Builds stamina, reduces hesitation, strengthens continuous speech. Day 28. Mix stories. Combine your version with another simple story. Create a new hybrid narrative. Advanced creative synthesis. Day 29. Tell the story from another point of view, another character, an object. Get creative with perspective. Expands empathy, imagination in English. Day 30. The big finale. Record a video of yourself telling the story your way, maybe with your changes, your emotional depth. Watch it. Smile at how far you've come.
This is it, the moment it all comes together. The power of one story, 30 days. Like the source says, you didn't just study English, you lived it. The ultimate outcome of true immersion, consistent engagement, and that profound shift in your relationship with the language. Not just collecting facts, integrating language into who you are.
That transformation after 30 days sounds incredible, almost like an identity shift. You stop feeling like a struggling student. Instead, you genuinely feel like someone who can speak, understand, feel, and create in English. A fundamental change in how you see yourself, from learner to capable user.
And the most important message, really, for anyone listening, just start. Start today. You don't need hundreds of lessons or dozens of books. You just need one story. And the will, the dedication to use it well, applying these methods. This plan empowers you to take control of your English journey, makes it effective, enjoyable, and deeply personal.
Wow, what an incredible journey through this deep dive. From that familiar frustration with traditional learning to this powerful story-based path that feels so much more intuitive, organic, truly effective. It really changes the game.
It absolutely does. The core message. So clear, so empowering. Just one simple story. You strategically, consistently with these techniques. It can genuinely unlock your English potential. It's depth over breadth. Emotion over memorization, active, creative engagement over just consuming stuff, building a real living relationship with the language.
So if you've been feeling stuck or overwhelmed or just uninspired with your English learning, we really hope you'll embrace this. Pick that one story, could be anything simple, commit to the 30 days, and honestly prepare to be amazed at your own progress, your own transformation.
And maybe here's a final thought, something to chew on as you start this adventure. What single story will you choose to transform your English journey? And then, what amazing new stories will you be able to tell the world?